Good evening, Scotty Sanders here. Welcome to my Facebook Live. I hope you're off to a great first of the week. In fact, a great start of April. This is April 1st. So there's already been a few pranks already being played. I've seen a few of those. Actually, I fell for one of those. One of my good friends, Kyle Cunningham, was put out there. There was his birthday today. So Kyle, if you're checking this out, I know it's not your birthday. I wish you a happy birthday. But I told Cindy, it just seemed like a few months ago was Kyle's birthday, that he had turned 30. Where did this year go? And I found out later, in fact, his day today was not his birthday. It was September. So I didn't lose my mind, but I should have figured out that it was April Fool's Day. Well, one of the things I'm going to share with you, so I want you to make sure you pay attention, that will not be an April Fool's. I'm going to share with you one little simple idea of how you can generate an extra $10,000 in additional income a year. So you'll want to hear that out. So I'm going to be talking about 5 surprising time wasters. And let me just go ahead and say to you, we all waste a certain amount of time. That's just inevitable. But you want to reduce that, mitigate that as much as you possibly can. And so I'm going to share with you, these are surprising because it's not the normal things we think about. You know, a lot of times we think about we can't find something, we lose something, our inbox, email, or we're wasting a lot of time on Facebook, not Facebook Live, but on Facebook, checking out. And I spend a lot of time on Facebook. That's how I keep up with people in all over the world, friends that I've got in different places. So I enjoy doing that. But these are 5 somewhat surprising. And let me just say to you, all 5 of these, you know, through the years, I've probably struggled with. I think I've gotten better over the years, but I still struggle with these, and some I do better than others. So this is actually episode 57. So I hope you have enjoyed this, and I always want to encourage you to share it with others. I really would appreciate that. You just hit the share button, and that sends it to your friends, and they can hopefully get the benefit of this as well. And it certainly encourages me. When I see someone that shares it, it says to me that that helped you and you appreciate it. So if nothing else, you get to encourage me by doing that. And if you'll share it, I'll send you a little thank you for doing that. How about that? All right, so let's talk about these 5 surprising time wasters. So the first one is this. It's worrying, all right? Worrying, and maybe you could all relate to that. We worry. The average person, this is amazing to me, the average person spends about 13 hours a week worrying. All right, just let that register in your mind. 13 hours a week, so about 2 hours a day, if you will, just in worry mode. You know, worried about things that probably will never happen. They estimate 85% of the things that we worry about never really happen. So here's my suggestion to you on how you can make an extra $10,000 a year. Simple. You don't even have to quit your job, but you have to quit worrying so much. So listen, we're going to all worry to some degree, all right? So what if you cut the 13 hours a week down to 3 hours a week, and you saved 10 hours a week from worrying, and you went and got a part-time job as a freelancer? There's so many things you can do online today. I've probably hired a half dozen freelancers online, and normally I pay between $25 and $50 an hour for freelancers. Find something you're good at doing, become a freelancer. Instead of worrying, you get to work at your own time, okay? But take that 10 extra hours and put it into something that can generate some income for you, and maybe you can help someone else. And that'll give you $10,000 a year in extra income if you average making $20 an hour doing that. So that's just a suggestion to you. So we worry about, you know, our past failures. We worry about mistakes that we've made. You got to quit worrying about those things. What people think about us. Who cares? Who really cares? We worry about tomorrow. We worry about next week, next month. You know, and listen, we need to, you know, certainly think about what's happening tomorrow, but we don't need to worry about tomorrow. Today, there's enough issues and challenges to deal with today, so take care of that. So that's the first one, is maybe surprising to you, is that worrying is a big, you know, time drain. Here's the second one. Second time waster is planning for future, or planning future. All right. Now listen, I think a certain amount of planning is good, and we need to plan, but we don't need to spend an inordinate amount of time in planning. So planning is really an inexact science to a certain extent. So don't be so hard and fast. Things change so much today. Okay, so we want to do some advanced planning, but you don't want to spend so much time planning in the future. And I usually have a kind of a 3-month plan, a 6-month, and a year, and I'll even look out 5 years. But I don't spend a lot of time doing that. But I want to have a general idea what I see coming in the future. And as I get older, I certainly start planning for my retirement. But you don't want to waste a lot of time, because in some ways, we like to plan for the future because we don't like what's going on now. And in some ways, it can be soothing to us. I don't want to think about now, what I have to deal with now. So I'll just plan 5 years or 10 years from now. And it's really a time drain. It's a time waster. So try to watch that. Here's a third one. Time waster number 3 is focusing on getting rich. All right, I can remember as a late teenager, man, that was important to me. I want to become wealthy. I want to have a super nice house, drive nice cars. I wanted to make a lot of money. That was a lot of my focus, is getting rich, becoming wealthy, and into my 20s and into my mid-20s until, something got my attention. Let's just say that. So let me suggest to you, and listen, I was ordering some new books today, and in the area of business and even in self-help, and a lot of those are talking about getting wealthy, getting rich, and I would just say, be careful there. This can be a big waste of time, in my opinion. Won't you look at this? Shift your focus rather than making money and getting rich, becoming rich. Shift your focus into helping people. And oh, by the way, when you focus on helping people, which is never a waste of time, it makes your heart right, your motives are right, but that usually leads to better income, a better lifestyle for you. So rather than using people to a means to the end to get rich, make your most important thing your focus on helping people, and you may be surprised how your income goes up. So that's time waster number 3. Time waster number 4, comparing yourself to others. Comparing yourself to others. Now let's face it, in the age of social media, that can be problematic, because there's so many things that we can see about others are doing and we wish that we were doing, and why do they get to do that and I don't get to do that, like they're living this great lifestyle. So be careful there. That's a real trap and danger in my mind, that when you do that. To me, it's a total waste of time. When you'll find yourself being either prideful or discouraged, or both. When you start comparing yourself to others, put your time in rather than focusing on, comparing yourself to others. Put your time in focusing on making the best version of yourself. You work on the best you can be, and that's all you should worry about. That's being a good steward and using your time wisely. Focus on that. Take that energy you're wasting on comparing to others and put it in yourself, and that will pay huge dividends. I promise you this, if you'll do that for the long haul, you'll make a lot more than $10,000 extra a year just by doing that one thing. I'm always reading and studying and listening to podcasts and really doing evaluation of myself and getting self-evaluation, getting feedback from others, because my focus isn't comparing myself to others, but rather on what can I do to improve myself, the little things that I can do. So that's time waster number 4. And time waster number 5, increasing your list of enemies is a time waster. Increasing your list of enemies is a time waster. Bitterness and resentment toward others is a real time drain. You can spend a lot of time and effort, being bitter, being mad, being angry, having resentment toward others, and they're going on about their life, but you're spending all this time wrapped up in this bitterness. And it's a time waster, not to mention it's pretty unhealthy. And you need to do something about that. Maybe you need to forgive that person or persons. So increasing your list of enemies and just keep adding, here's another person I've got bitterness or resentment toward. It's a huge time waster, and it's not mentally healthy for you. And let me suggest, don't be so easily offended by things. We sometimes look for the negative in others, and we're easily offended. Man, let things roll off of you a little bit more. Look for the best. Give people the benefit of the doubt. And if you don't, if you're easily offended and you're always looking for the negative and you're always critical of others, you'll spend a lot of time increasing your list of enemies is a total waste of time. It is a time drain. So I want you to think about, so don't, again, and let me say something else to you. Again, you may have family members that you have to be around, your kids, your parents, or your spouse. So that's a little caveat there. But you don't want to normally spend a lot of time with people that hurt you all the time. So if you got friends and it's a toxic relationship and they're always hurting you, you can make a choice not to be around that person anymore. So don't give energy to people that hurt you. It can be damaging to you. So I want you to think about these 5 time wasters and really do a little bit of self-evaluation of, do you do these, and how can you reduce the amount of time you waste in these 5 areas? And let me encourage you, when you find yourself doing that, just for instance, okay, what if rather than spending 13 hours a week in worry, and I'm not saying you're ever going to get to a place you have no worries. I think we're all going to have to deal with that a lot, but when that becomes a big part of your life, 13 hours, that's a good part-time job, man. But if you could cut down 10 hours a week and you can put that towards something productive, either a part-time job, do some freelancing, or what if you spent 10 hours a week in study to improve yourself? That would be a tremendous improvement of yourself, and it would probably increase your bottom line, and you can probably help more people in the process. So look at that. You know, I've been reminded through the years, we really have all the time we need to do what's important to us, important for us. So if something's important to us, we give time to that. One of the things I've practiced for years and years, I try to schedule my priorities. So, you know, in the morning, my time with God is important to me. So I spend my first waking minutes with Him because He's important to me. It's important to me that I learn and I study. So I spend my first part of my day usually in study time. Typically, I spend at least 10 hours a week in study. And you say, you don't have time to do that. Yes, you do. If you're the average person and you're worrying 13 hours a week, if you cut that in half, you could add 5 or 6 hours just by doing that one thing. Rather than getting a list of enemies and thinking about them and being negative about them and resentment and bitterness, put it towards something good. So redirect your life. So not only make acknowledgement of these time wasters, do something different with the time that you're wasting. Well, listen, I want to encourage you to share this with someone else. I know these are 5 things that may surprise you, but they're 5 things that I've struggled with through the years, and I still deal with these ongoing, but I try to pay attention to these. I want to make sure I'm doing things that are edifying, that build up, that's life-giving, that I want to redeem the time, make the most of the time that I have. And I think I've been able to do that through the years, and it's allowed me to be involved in a lot of different things that I'm deeply, deeply passionate about, such as doing Facebook Live. See, my purpose in life is to encourage and to empower others to live, lead, and finish well. And one of the ways that you can live, lead, and finish well is that you practice these, or let's just say, eliminate these 5 time wasters. And that will make a bigger difference in your life. Well, listen, I hope you have a great week. I hope you have a great April. A little secret, my wife and I, Cindy, we just celebrated our 40th wedding anniversary. We've got a little getaway coming up. So I won't be with you next Monday, but I'll be working on lots of talks coming up through the fall. So I'm already scheduled through May, all of my talks, and I'll plan out everything else to the fall. And I look forward to doing that because this is something I'm deeply passionate about. I hope it's a blessing to you, and I hope you'll share it with some others. But listen, lead well this week until we get together in a couple of weeks. Take care.